And we're live,
We're jumping
Rachel.
off the wharf right there.
I'm not driving.
Somebody throw you out?
Jules? I'm not driving in.
We're all right? Okay, so Mr. Kelly, can you read off the resolution? We're coming out of a closed session
Yes,
on
sir.
this issue. Now we have to vote on it in a public session.
Yes, sir.
Could you please read the resolution?
Your worship, moved by Councillor Cloud, second by Councillor McCabe, that the foundation plans for 3 townhouse dwellings on the corner of Mount Edward Road and Towers Road, PID number 390534, 390559, and 390542, be approved, subject to the final architectural plans being submitted by the applicant and reviewed and approved by the planning board and council before any other phase building permits are issued for the 3 townhouses, buildings 1, 2, and 3, on the approved site plan for the property and that the 60-foot public road corridor on the north boundary of the property is deeded to the city prior to the issuance of any building permit, subject to section 2.5 of the development agreement as relates to the subject property on the corner of Mount Edward Road and Towers Road, Your Worship.
Mr. Chair, you're all right?
All good to go.
You're all right, Councilman?
I thought Mr. Hooley was gonna get up and speak.
You want him to speak? That's why we did it in the closed session.
We are going to put out a release, Councillor.
Hmm?
We're going to put out a release.
Okay, so,
Question, Carl? Or do you want to have it, do you have a question?
I have a comment
Get up.
that, is it agreed upon that immediately following this resolution, that an informative press release is going out to inform the public of all the details of this? Is that correct?
Is that correct, Mr. Kelly, Mr.
The
Forbes,
intent is to
Mr.
put out
Rooney?
a release, Your Worship, yes.
Right away, today,
Yes,
Today.
we'll work with legal and staff before they leave here.
and it'll go out today?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions?
And we're only, once again, your worship, since we're live, we're only approving the foundation.
Is that right, Mr. Forbes?
Correct, Your Worship.
And anything else beyond the foundation, there can't be a 2x4 put on that foundation until it's approved.
Because it's a comprehensive development area, Mr. Forbes, what does it mean?
It means that the applicant will be required to come back before he gets any additional permits on that property. He needs to seek the direction from the planning committee and council in regard to that they're comfortable with the proposed design of the building. If council feels that the change from the original concept plan, in their opinion, differs significantly, they can request a public meeting, or they can at that time determine that the design is sufficient for them and approve it without going to a public
So
meeting.
just for clarification, it goes back to the department, then to planning board, then to council.
He will be applying for the second phase, which
Through
will
the
be the
department.
building design, and we will then loop that back to planning board and council seeking your direction.
Because it's under a comprehensive development area.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, and that's under section 42.
42.2.6, Your Worship.
Okay, Councillor.
And just for point of clarification on that, we will go back and look at what was originally approved when we originally approved this a year ago or whenever it was. And if it's significantly different, council at that time could vote that no, we're not accepting this, and that will be his responsibility to remove the foundations if it goes through.
Correct.
Do you want to get that to? too? Word?
Wording in the bylaw, just to be clear, is consistent with.
Consistent, yeah. Our bylaws don't need updating, right?
Yeah, but for this point right now, what we're talking about, it's,
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's why we're here all the time.
you have a question, or you want to call the question?
Call the question.
You want to call the question. Question has been called. Those all in favor, please raise your hand. Councillor Duran.
Not in favor.
Okay, Councillor Duffy.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Councillor McCabe.
No.
Councillor McCabe against Councillor Twill,
No.
4-3.
Okay.
Just let me get this down, please, just before we close. check that, sir. Is that all right? Okay, do we have a resolution to adjourn? Just before we go, yes?
What time will this informative information be out to the public?
Judge Demay will be working on it,
Detailed
sir?
information.
So what, again, after we're done, we'll meet with the solicitor and Alex and also our staff to get that prepared, and we'll get it as quick as we can.
Any questions from the media?
Before we end the session, can I ask one question?
Sure you can.
Would you be able to
Counselor Drawn, we can't hear you.
Wind in your phone.
It's wind. It's windy.
understand over here? Would the legal department be able to give us a definition of conflict of interest? You know, I know it's very specific, but in this case, I just want a definition of what a conflict of interest is. If you could just give me a quick definition of that.
Is that for you or for the counselor as stated, Counselor Drawn?
Yes, it's just for the general counsel. Like, should you be voting on issues if there's a legal conflict of interest? And I'm just wondering if all counselors know, you know, the legal aspects of a conflict of interest. So is there any paragraph or something you could give me to clarify?
Just,
I could try, Councillor Drawn, to give it to you in a nutshell. There is a conflict of interest provision in the MGA. There's a conflict of interest bylaw, which spells out in considerable detail what's involved. But in simple layman's terms, a conflict is where one's personal or familial, financial, or other interests are in conflict with that of the city corporation. Including and familial, I say, yeah. Yeah. So that, in simplest terms, that's what it is. So your interest, in other words, your own interest and the interest of the corporation are at odds, and therefore you're in conflict and need to recuse and not participate in decisions pertaining to that particular matter, whatever it might be.
If that's the case.
yeah. And could I just add, Mr. Hooley, in the Municipal Act,
Yeah.
Government Act, it's Part 4, Division 4, Conflict of Interest, Section 96. It's on page 53 in the MGA, sir. If you want to follow that up, Councillor Drawn, page 53.
Yes, I would, but I appreciate, you know, I don't like putting you on the spot, but I just want to make sure we're all well aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn, all passed. Thank you very much. Thank you.